Hello, Dr. Gayatri. Thank you so much for joining me in this podcast called Brain and You. I'm very excited to have you here, especially knowing that you have decades of experience in early intervention and you're running this vocational setup. You also have experience in Brain Gem. So I'm very happy that today, after this, with the kind of questions that I have made a note of, my set of parents will get to learn a lot from you.
Namaste, and thank you so much for this warm welcome. I'm very much excited and happy to share all that we know. It's a mutual learning. Thank you for the
Yeah,
invite.
yeah. So, before we start, Dr. Gayatri, let me give you some background about the parents who will be listening to this. So, Ayurved, this company, we create nutritional products, food nutrition, and such food nutrition which are made of ingredients good for the brain. The such products are consumed by children who are neurodiverse, who have either autism or ADHD or any kind of learning disability or even Down syndrome. And so far, we have catered to almost 5, 6 lakh such children in India and outside of India. So the parents of these children are will be the one listening to you. And I would say most of the parents also are within the bracket of having kids between 4 to 10 years of age group. So I would say more like early intervention. And that is how I have planned today's session as well with you. So before we start, why don't you give a quick introduction about yourself?
Thank you so much for that. Yes, I am a founder of Prakramika Vocational Institute based in Chennai, but works in India, UAE, Oman, where I stay, and of course in US also. So we work on three dimensions. One is inclusive education. So we help the schools to impart the best inclusive practices. Uh, by imparting the research-based, practical-oriented
In,
practices
yeah,
um,
interventions. Okay. Mm.
that will help the intervention goes very, very smooth. So this is my first core area of work. And the second, of course, is a vocation, which is for non-academic children who cannot pursue
Mm.
in the stream. And for them, we have a systemized curriculum, not just a vocation, but a systemized curriculum with 14 subjects, just like any neurotypical. So we have developed a 14 subject curriculum for them, a holistic development rather, I would say,
Hmm.
where is just one of the subject, that's all. So other subjects are also there, so that helps them in becoming an independent
Absolutely.
professional later. So
Mm.
this is the second area I work. We in fact we help in the institutions also,
Mhm.
getting them started off with this curriculum based vocational training. And the third
Excellent.
area which we work is the skill-based, job-oriented courses, which we started in 2021.
Mm.
It's a new addition to PBI, and where we started off with one course, which is front office management. We started for 14 students, and in that, eight of them got job. So
Amazing.
it's a big encouragement for us,
Yeah.
and from there,
Mm.
it went into five courses, and then now we have four 2 year programs, 30 individual courses, and more adding on. So, this is a
Amazing.
big
Mm.
PVI. We help the
Mm.
institutions also, we share our knowledge, we work throughout India, US, we have UAE and Oman.
Amazing. Yeah. I think we will, after this call, after this session, I think we will reach out to you for a lot of guidance because parents look up to us and we look up to experts like you in areas like therapy and vocational and job because Um, you know it better than we do. This is a space in which you have experience, you work day in, day out. So, which is that's the reason why we do these podcasts. We do a lot of Q&A sessions also with parents where we invite experts. So, I think this session will be extremely useful.
Thank you.
Um, if so, let me start. Let me start by asking you my first question. So, Dr. Gayatri, you have worked with thousands of children so far. What is one thing that most parents are doing wrong without realizing it, especially in the early intervention phase?
Denial. One is I see is the first one is denial. I agree to their emotional level. That is the first mistake they do.
Mm.
That gives that time lap, so they
Mm,
get delayed into the intervention side.
mm,
But once they start, also they are not educated. They don't have the educated. When I say in the awareness side, not the general education, but in the awareness side, what to do, what not to do, how to do. Either they overdo,
so,
they are not worried at all. So in that way it goes. It is not that systemized way they proceed towards
mm,
equipping their children. What I normally
mm,
say to parents is go step by step. Just
mm,
one step at a time, don't think too much and get
mm,
overwhelmed. Today
mm,
one step, I'm successful, then go to the next step.
makes
But
sense.
so this is what the mistake they do.
Yeah,
Either they believe too much and they
I,
go into, or they don't believe at all. They don't take anybody's advice.
mm, mm,
It's like,
mm.
either too much trusting or not trusting at all. Both are dangerous.
Understood. And you mentioned diagnosis. So many families wait until a diagnosis before seeking help. But in your view, Dr. Gayatri, how dangerous is the delay in diagnosis and what early signs should never be ignored?
Actually, we have a set of we will call red alert red alerts. We say so that starts as early as the child's birth itself, or even sometimes during the pregnancy itself. Nowadays, the doctors they do discuss this with parents. But at least
Mm,
after the childbirth, yes, we do start noticing certain red alerts.
got it.
But when
But
parents, yeah,
mm,
please.
no, I was just saying maybe let's also focus on the first bit of the question first, which is that how dangerous is this delay?
Every second matters. For a child's development, particularly what we say 0 to 6 is the prime area of development that everybody knows. It's important. There 0 to 6, every one single minute is
Mm,
important for the child, not just the neurodivergent, it's equal for the neurotypical also. Every
mm,
single second is important for them, and the
got
focus
it.
has to go on to that. And more so for the neurodivergent because we need a structure based
Yeah.
education and approach.
Mm.
So, in that way, if that structured approach is not given, there's going to be a huge delay. Now, that is going to affect the later part of their growth.
And earlier you mentioned something like either parents overdo it, at times they try to do a lot of things, not knowing what exactly is to be done. And maybe I will mention the word misdiagnosis also here, that there is a lot of misdiagnosis also happening. So how often are you seeing kids labeled with autism or ADHD when it's really something else?
Very often. That is so often it is. I always wonder how any person, even for
Mm,
me, I would say I am not the professional qualified to label a child. I can
mm,
only say there is a challenge, there is something which we need to address. I have the authority to say only this much being a special educator. But I'm not a clinical psychologist or
got
a
it.
to label a child. We are not authorized. So, and we should know our boundaries always. So, but the parents, many times I get a call, "Ma'am, my child is just hyperactive." I asked, recently I got a call. I asked, how old is the child? I thought must be some 12, 13 years. And I
Mm,
expected that. And she said 3.5
yeah.
years.
Yes. Yeah.
Half years and you say hyperactive. What made you say that? "No,
Yeah.
he's not, please." I said that could be even an overactive. The child is
Mm,
really enthusiastic. I
mm,
don't believe
to learn.
child
Yeah. Yeah.
that is not a challenge, but the trend or a challenge should be noted by the professionals only. So, or
Got
if
it.
even parents or anybody notices, they have to go to the clinical psychologist and get it done
Got
and
it.
get what it is that they have to name it.
Yeah.
Generalize it and always anybody
Absolutely.
as
Mm,
hyperactive. If the
mm,
child is
mm,
not speaking, oh, must be autism,
mm,
or the child is just walking on toes, okay, he's got autism. Labeling
mm,
very,
mm,
very is. It's so
mm,
common.
mm.
Anybody and everybody they are labeled.
Very true, very true. And I think last week I was speaking to one more expert wherein they said that pe- experts or professionals who are not really authorized to diagnose, and many a times therapists as well, they confuse between speech delay and autism. And invariably, a child with speech delay is also called autistic, whereas that's not always the case. So I think I agree with what you're saying here. So I was going through your work, Dr. Gayatri, and I saw that you talk about the importance of movement in development. So tell me, how true is the claim that a child's body must move to grow their brain?
It's extremely important. Particularly, I can start with the crawling stage itself. That just that simple crawling, maybe I think around 6 months the baby starts doing it.
Mm,
That starts the brain integration part. The right and the left brain starts integrating because we all
mm,
know right controls the left side and the left brain
mm,
controls the right side. So
mm,
integrations because from that crawling stage itself. So many times I see parents, they say, my child didn't crawl, ma'am. They direct standing and direct walking. I say
mm.
these are milestones they have to do, even for a CP child.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yes.
So movement is
Mm,
something very, very important. And one particular, I have done my sensory therapy. I have done my brain gym also in Malaysia
mm,
under with expert guide I had done. And from there, I would just say my experience because I used to work as a yoga therapist also.
mm,
So it was a combination of yoga, sensory, brain gym, and reflexology. I was working on all this as a one-on-one therapy I was giving. So
mm,
movement is something very, very important. So
mm.
brain actually fires the neurons in our brain.
Yes, yeah.
Going to
Neuroplasticity happens. Yeah, yeah.
Now, if the child is having issue in challenges in speech, and we do a lot of movement and this with palm and the feet,
Mm,
what happens is the firing goes so much that the speech part starts getting ignited.
yeah, yeah.
This is seen practically with one of the child who was labeled as nonverbal until 14 years. And when we started this as a package and no, as a bundle, we started working on the child. He started speaking within 7 months. He started
Wow.
speech. So his speech is triggered. So movement and this hand, everything, all limbs, everything that has a power and it is
Yes.
very necessary.
Very,
Even
very pleased to hear this because this is something I truly believe in. And we, as a company, also try to promote a lot of movement-based exercises that we ask parents to do. So I'm very glad that you shared this. And
even, for a
yeah,
child with
please.
yeah, we do a lot this assessment on what type of a learner. So there were many learners who were into the kinesthetic side. So when it comes to a kinesthetic learner, and I make him just sit and learn, that's not going to work at all. So I give an activity where he moves and he learns. He uses his big muscles. Then that is when the actual learning happens. I also take them to playground. We play
Mm,
and we learn.
mm,
So the answers go in the auditory side. I'll play some recording, but actually we will be playing with a ball or something, and he learns.
mm,
So movement is very, very important in such
mm,
cases, particularly when it comes to neurodivergent, based
mm,
on requirements and the learning style. Movement goes very important.
mm, mm. You touched upon non-verbal child. So my next question is around that if a child is non-verbal at 5 years of age, is there still hope?
I just mentioned that child who was 14 years and he started speaking at that age. He started calling, and imagine when he said "mama." Just imagine the feeling of that mother. I
Mm,
still have those recordings of his speech, his initial speeches, I would say.
mm,
He can still work on. It's 5 years is nothing. I know children who, when I say 14 years, the boy started speaking.
yeah,
So we should never lose hope. The only thing is we have to constantly work, as I mentioned, just one step at a time. Work on whatever the strengths are. Where the strengths are, work more, I tell the parents. And where the need is, work there also a little bit. But focus on the strength area because that is where we are going to build his future.
yeah, yeah. And you mentioned focus a lot on movement. Yeah. The way include learning with activity, with movement, a lot of hands to be used, a lot of sensation to be triggered. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
And
that both sides of the brain can be ignited. Yeah.
it's a 20-minute rule we should have. 20 minutes of learning for neurodivergent, this works. 20 minutes of learning, then give a 10-minute movement, anything. It could be a simple brain gym
Amazing.
or a simple yoga stretches or even just a walking or anything. 10 minutes of a break, and then come back again 20 minutes. So it's like a
Yeah,
20 rule we have to follow for the children.
that's a
For
great tip. That's a great tip. Yeah. One very interesting thing that I found in your work, Dr. Gayatri, which I have not seen that as much, is you're one of the few therapists who's very vocal about emotional health also. So, what happens to a child's progress when the parent is mentally exhausted?
not just the parents, even the teachers, even the peers, everything affects the child. Each and everything. I won't say the failure alone, even too much of a success also affects the child. I can just quote an example where too much of a success also affected the child. A girl with ADHD, when was all along getting zero in math, she got 100 on 100 when we worked in a differential learning methodologies. So we started seeing improvement, and one stage she got 100 on 100, which had a huge impact on the girl, emotional level, went rocket high. She fell into a severe seizure.
Oh, okay.
So it be it too much of a happiness or too much of an challenges. I won't say sadness. Anything has to be dealt with care only. Anything and everything. Emotionally, there should be a balance. We, as neurotypical, we know how to regulate our emotions. We know how to take it. We know when we go down or when we are so happy, we know come back to normal. But
Mm,
sometimes neurodivergent children, they have issue in handling these emotions.
mm,
So anything that has to be given with care only. Even
mm,
if maybe the child might have got very low marks in the exam. So it is the way we convey, it makes a lot of difference.
mm,
A slightest change in our facial expression, it's very, very easy for them to understand that something has gone wrong and they go down very badly. So we have to ensure that nothing, the environment is happier and it's acceptable for them.
understood. Mm,
And
yeah.
they should think that I ask help. Asking help is not a shame. So
Mm,
that kind of an environment is something we need to build for them.
mm,
So
mm, mm.
emotions, we have to be very careful. As I mentioned, be it too sad apart or too happy apart, both as an thing.
Got it. Got it. What are your thoughts on the reliance on screens or tech-based learning tools? So, are we solving or silently damaging the child's development?
You are asking the right person, I must say, because we are into a lot of online based teaching programs. Having said that, I'm a big no for this gadget based learning. Contradicting what I do, sometimes it's contradicting with what I say, because gadget, what happens is the sensory overload is so high on a child, any child, I will say, it damages the neuro pathways. You people will know better in this, being in the medical field. So that really damages them. And they are getting into the textbook based learning, doesn't happen at all. And that, I think that
Yeah.
is more
Mm.
effective.
Attention span does not remain at all. I can see that in my own children. They're neurotypical kids, that does not matter. Whenever they are heavily on screen, I can see that now slowly their attention span of reading books has gone down to 5 minutes. Earlier, they could read for an hour. So now, then the moment you take away the gadget for exactly 2 days, they're back. They can read books, they're more calmer. So you have, as a parent, I think any parent, any child, you have to be very vigilant.
In PBR, when we say we do a lot of this online based training,
Hmm.
because for us, our mission is to reach more people. That's how
Hmm.
we are able to reach. At the same
Hmm.
time, we do take care of this gadget based learning also. What we tell the parents is the notes, we don't record and give them any, we don't give them video recording of the notes. So what we do is we give them the PDF. We ask the parents to take the printout. So when they have to learn, okay, they attend the class for 1 hour online, yes, but we
Then they go and
compensate.
teach the kids. Okay.
Yes. They sit with
Excellent.
them and they learn only through that. Even when they have to answer, it is not gadget based answering. So we ask them to do it in pen
To take
paper
a
only.
printout in paper. Yeah, 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 absolutely. Yeah, this is amazing. This has been very useful for me. I mean, some of the things I always say whenever I talk to experts like you for about half an hour, I always walk away with two, three such key learnings. So I'm very happy with the session with you today, Dr. Gayatri. It's been
Thank
really
you so
useful.
much.
And the tips that you have shared, you may not realize, but there are certain tips that you just mentioned during the conversation. They'll come very handy to the parents.
I'm very happy for that. I'm really very happy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for the invite, and it was really nice talking to you.
Absolutely.